Lower Down Under back here again, looking at my top 10 films of the year that was 2016. It's Christian here again. Welcome back to the year 2017. And what a year it's been, 2016. There was a lot of great films that came out. There was also a lot of dud films, such as the likes of Batman, the Superman Dawn of Justice, the Suicide Squad films, Gods of Egypt, but amongst those really average films like Ben-Hur, we also got a really great list of hidden gems, such as the likes of Green Room, Swiss Army Man. So I'd like to go through a list of my favourite films of the year. Please keep in mind this list is subjective, and this is just my personal opinion. Bearing in mind there may be a lot of films here that are going to get talked about in awards season. I'd also like to let you know that I haven't seen every film that came out last year. I still missed out on seeing American Honey. I still missed out on seeing Snowden as some good examples. And Moonlight is not yet out in Australia. And Manchester by the Sea is not out. These aren't out till next week, but I just can't be bothered waiting because there's so many good movies. And I'll probably add those films posthumously as I go along. And also Silence. I completely forgot Martin Scorsese. I've got to add that to the list. So without further ado, here's my list of my favourite films of the year. And as I already explained earlier, there's a number of films that are still to be released in Australia. So I'll just quickly run through those that I'm yet to see. Fences, we have Moonlight, Silence, Manchester by the Sea. It's always right to give you a rundown on some films that I really enjoyed, that I really wanted to add to this list, but I just couldn't find a space to fit them in. That includes Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren, United Kingdom, Lion, also Zootopia, which I really loved and I wanted to know so badly, and Moana, the Disney films. Don't Breathe was another really good one. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I just couldn't fit it in there. And The Founder, I really enjoyed that film. And Eddie the Eagle was a really fun film. And The Accountant, what a really great film from Affleck. And Sully. And I'm going to add all of the Marvel films here because there were just 3 of them. They were great. And they didn't make the list, unfortunately. The Edge of 17 and Deepwater Horizon. Here comes the fun part, and this is a list from 10 to 1. So here we go. And at number 10 we have Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge was one of the most intense war films I'd seen in years. I haven't been this moved in a film since Saving Private Ryan and The Thin Red Line. Everything about the Mel Gibson's direction and Andrew Garfield's acting was just on point. Down at number 9, I have to say my number 9 film would be Hell or High Water. It was just an intense film about these brothers who were robbing these banks, and they had a real reason for doing it, and you kind of understood their reasoning. Yet at the same time, you really felt for Jeff Bridges' character, who was playing a police chief, and the way that he had to go on his intense major mission to stop these guys from causing any further damage than what they already had done. The film is done brilliantly well, and it's one of the best heist films I've seen in many years. And at number 8, I've put down Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, because I just love Star Wars. I've grown up with Star Wars. This film really tied into the episodes 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and so on really well. And I really enjoyed meeting new characters. My only disappointment was the overuse of CGI, but the battle scenes were awesome. And I loved Donnie Yen's character, he was cool. Down at number 7, I've chosen Captain Fantastic. Captain Fantastic was this really interesting story about this father living with his children. They're living off the grid in the wilderness somewhere in America, and they're forced to integrate in society. I really liked the acting from Viggo Mortensen. He really carried the film so well, and he thoroughly deserves any nominations that he gets. And I think that it's a really interesting story that everyone should watch at some point, because it's something that I've always envisioned myself doing. Down at number 6, I've chosen a really great film. I've chosen Paterson. It felt like the most human film that I'd seen all year. It's a typical Jim Jarmusch film, and it's acted brilliantly by Adam Driver, and it tells a story of a young man and his wife and his dog, and it's just 7 days in the life of this bus driver. It just felt like such a real story, just watching people do everyday normal things, and it didn't feel like acting. Definitely deserves to be on my list. Down at number 5, I've chosen Nocturnal Animals because I really love the direction from Tom Ford in this film, and this film really kept you on the edge of your seat. And Amy Adams was great in the film, as was Jake Gyllenhaal, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and of course Michael Shannon. It was really interesting the way they went about telling you this story within a story, and it really gripped me from the get-go. And I'm still yet to read the book, but I'm definitely going to look into that. Number 4 is definitely one of my favourite films of the year. It's Arrival. Denis Villeneuve has really reinvented the science fiction genre, and I can't wait to see what he does next with the new Blade Runner 2049. I really love the idea of this story about meeting aliens, but it felt so real. It's a story about the world and how we communicate with other people. And Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner and Forest Whitaker, they were fantastic in this film. And number 3, because I love music so much, I had to give a mention to Sing Street because it was a really great feel-good movie with some really great songs, really kept you bopping along. I just love this story of this kid growing up in Dublin in the 1980s and how he tries to win the affections of a girl through music. It just worked so well. Down at number 2, I've chosen Nice Guys because Shane Black directed this film and we don't get these types of crime films anymore. It was hilariously funny throughout the whole piece, and I just loved the chemistry between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. I had to watch it a few times to really love it, but I've loved it ever since. This film has captured the essence of the 1970s so well. But without further ado, we've come to my number 1 film. It's a film that's getting a lot of recognition. It's a film that I hope you love just as much as I did. So let's reveal what my number 1 film of 2016 was. Say big congratulations to Damien Chazelle on this film, because La La Land is my number 1 film. This film just blew me away from the get-go. It had a great direction, it had some really wonderful songs, it was so moving, and it was a really great story, and I loved the acting from Ryan Gosling and from Emma Stone. The thing about La La Land just worked so well. It just worked like clockwork. From the scripting, from the acting, from the direction from Chazelle, from the choices in the music. It's very difficult to fault a film such as that, and it's no wonder it's getting so many awards. Yes, it does feel a bit cliched, and it's definitely a type of film that you would expect to win awards, as it is, but nevertheless, I'm happy to see it win all the accolades. So there's just so many good things about that film that it's really hard for me to find anything, me personally, wrong about the film. The fact that it just blew me away from the moment that I first saw it, and the fact that I've seen it 3 times already, and I've got the songs from the film on replay consistently, really shows just how good it was. But that was my list of the best films of 2016. Yours will probably be a bit different to mine. There could be a lot of similar choices, but I'd love to hear what you thought of the list, and I'll definitely be back with more in the near future. But if you like what you see and you want to see more, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back with more soon.